I love my state. I love Colorado. We can have people show up wanting to express themselves, and we'll listen to them, right? And it's because that's what we are as a state. Hello, mi gente. I'm Joe Salazar. I'm former state representative, and I served in this legislature from 2013 to 2019. And it is my honor to stand with you today. 9 years ago, I served in this building and I was preparing for the first Trump administration. Like many of you, I saw him for what he was, a man who lusted for power and cared very little for the human condition, a man who took pleasure in the harm and exploitation of others, who measured success based on his personal wealth and denigrated those who serve others. To me, and just like for you, these were all the hallmarks of an authoritarian. And I began to prepare. I met with members of numerous communities, particularly the Jewish community, and I asked a simple question. What did the community do to prepare during the rise of Hitler? And I know the Trump administration hates it when we make that comparison. But history is not original. It repeats itself, and it's vain because it dares us to change it, and we never do. And we are in a loop, and we are seeing another rise to power such as Hitler's. And the answer, as we may now know, was nothing. Nothing was done. It was nothing because Hitler was not taken seriously. As a state representative, I refused to allow my legacy to be read as he did nothing. What was born from that moment was a series of legislation like the Ralph Carr Freedom Defense Act and others from then until now, supporting Coloradans and protecting Colorado rights in the face of an authoritarian government. And now here we are today, and 34 felony convictions later, because too many people did nothing. Merrick Garland, the great calamity of this nation is that we refuse to see authoritarianism walking upon us until it's too late. Chicana Power, Shirley Romero Otero, one of the most famous ladies in Colorado. If you don't know her, you should know her. She is a legend in our community. Thank you for being here, Jefita. And now, here we are, facing the darkness together. And yet, that is our key to victory. Being together. We stand here with the sword and the shield of the First Amendment to protect us. And we say in one accord that there is no king in America. And we will not be silenced by authoritarians. They claim that we are anti-fascists and domestic enemies. But if they want anti-fascists, they can turn to Fort Logan Cemetery, Arlington National Cemetery, and other cemeteries where buried are hundreds of thousands of the most victorious anti-fascists the world has ever known. They want anti-fascists, go there! No, we will not be painted as domestic terrorists. We are just Coloradans, just Americans who are calling a spade and a dictator, because that is our constitutional right to do so. My friend Representative Steve Woodrow said it best. Every time they accuse us of things, it's because they are the ones guilty of that conduct. Today, we stand under the beautiful Colorado sky against darkness, a darkness that has reduced our standing in the world, threatens to tear the fabric of this country apart, and has shredded our constitutional rights while we watch with our eyes wide open. But we stand here together, united as one, as Coloradans, as Americans. We stand shoulder to shoulder with communities of color, white folks, gay, straight, able-bodied, disabled, affluent, poor, rural, urban, many religions, the non-religious. We stand together. We stand here because we know the secret to freedom is courage. The secret to freedom is courage. And we are not short of courage. The secret to freedom is courage, and we need our military leaders and our soldiers to be courageous in their oaths to our Constitution. Whether they show courage or cowardice to a dictator will define their legacy and will shape the world for generations to come. The secret to freedom is courage, and our elected leaders must show courage in the face of the worst existential threat our country has ever faced. Courage like our Attorney General and my opponent at one point, Attorney General Phil Weiser, who has filed and won dozens of lawsuits against this administration. Courage like State Senator Julie Gonzalez, la senadora, who passed legislation to protect our communities from federal overreach. Not the cowardice we've seen in our two U.S. Senators, Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper, who voted in favor of Trump's numerous nominees, only to see Coloradans laid off, fired, and federal dollars stripped from Colorado. Not the cowardice we've seen from our congressional delegation, who are afraid to take the lowest hanging fruit of courageous votes. We need a new generation of leaders like Wanda James, who's born and raised in community, took her oath in our armed forces, and returns to us to honor her commitment to our Constitution. We need to reject dark money entering local politics and vote for labor candidates and leaders across the board. Remember what he said about school board elections? You gotta vote. My job today is not merely to brandish words, but to live by the example of my ancestors. My grandfather, and I'm an indigenous Coloradan, you all, my Spanish roots go back to the 1600s. My Apache roots go back to the creation of the world. And so I know something about this state. We grew up with it. We helped it grow up. My grandfather taught me that Colorado was built by community. No one person built this state. We had to rely on each other. And that is our job now in the third decade of the 21st century. The secret to freedom is courage, and the secret to defeating authoritarians is community. This rally is important because it shows us that we are not alone. You must carry this unity with you. Past this day into your neighborhoods. You must prepare yourselves by ensuring food and water sustainability for communities. You must prepare yourselves for collective self-reliance as this administration ramps up inhumane policies. Because nothing thwarts oppressors quite like taking the tools of starvation, thirst, dependency, and depression away from them. You need to honor the land. You need to build gardens for yourselves. You need to find a way for self-reliance. This is more than just a rally. This is a rallying call for you to find a way to beat an oppressor. And history has taught us exactly how to do that. We rely on each other. Heed my words, mi gente, that you must prepare, because never in the history of dictators and authoritarians is there any example that they will stop on their own. That is not their nature. And when you know the nature of a thing, you know what it's capable of. Prepare for yourselves. Prepare your children, your grandchildren. Prepare for your elders and for those who cannot prepare for themselves. That's the indigenous way. So yes, march, rally, protest, use your voices because they are powerful tools, but also prepare, unify, and find faith in each other. That's what makes us Colorado, and we are a mighty people.